Welcome to ABC News, where children's views really matter. This week's headlines. The Great British Bake Off signs off for the summer and it's lights out for the Bedtime Stories too. Good evening. We previously reported on the chaos that ensued when the Great British Bake Off first hit the kitchens of Bute at the start of the lockdown. Well, 10 weeks later, Molly McGregor and Leila Templeton finally hung up their aprons and we finally managed to track them down as the Bake Off Season 1 came to an end this week. Hold on, I thought they'd edited that bit out. So, Leila and Molly, can you tell us how you're feeling now that you're no longer baking for Bute?
Well, Anna, I'm feeling relieved mainly. I mean, we had a successful first season, managed to produce 10 cooking shows, and we didn't poison anyone. Well, at least I didn't.
I can see that Molly and Leila are both gradually returning to normal student life now. But seriously, these girls have done a tremendous job encouraging the children of Bute to get baking during the lockdown. We sent 2 reporters to speak to some of the children who took part in every single bake-off challenge.
Today I'm talking to the Thomas family. I've been told that you've gotten involved with every single bake-off challenge, and your wee sisters even joined in too. Why did you get involved with the bake-off?
I got involved in the Great British Bake Off because I just learned how to cook on my own and because it was an excuse to cook loads of cake and not being told off. What I liked about the Great British Bake Off is that it's a challenge every week and I like a challenge every now and then. So I really like the experience.
What was your favourite bake, Keith?
My favourite bake was the baked Alaska, but it was a very hard decision because all of them were so good.
And what was your favourite bake, Isla?
Favourite bake was No Bake Week when I made my strawberry tarts.
Isla, can you show us your favourite piece of baking equipment?
My favourite bit of baking equipment is the stand mixer because it's really easy. There's loads of stuff to look at the end and Mum doesn't yell at me because I make a mess in the kitchen.
And Keith, what's your favourite piece of baking equipment?
I like the electric whisk that I used to mix up my meringues.
And who did you think was the better baker, Molly or Leila?
I think out of Leila and Molly, Molly was the best, no offence Leila. My favourite baker was Molly, and again, no offence Leila.
I so agree with you. Thank you for speaking to me.
Thank you for organising, and I really like the challenge. Even though it's all over, I'm still going to go nuts in the kitchen.
Back to you in the studio.
Not quite. We have another family who completed every single challenge.
Yes, that's right. I caught up with Dylan and Leon, who also took part in every single challenge. Why did you guys get involved in the Bake Off? I did because I like bacon and I like to eat it.
I like bacon. Part of the bacon I liked was when we got to eat it all, and it was fun to try new skills.
Leon, what was your favourite bake? Mine was chocolate wheat because we done a Willy Wonka inspired cake.
The pizza week was my favourite week because I got to taste all the ingredients.
Dylan, what was your favourite bake?
Banana pancakes.
Dylan, what's your favourite baking equipment? Mine's the electric mixer because I get to lick it after.
I like the blender.
Why do you like the blender?
It does because I wanted to make my banana pancake with the blender.
Interesting. What about you, Leon?
My favourite baking equipment is probably the spoon because I get to lick it.
That's great, but the big question is, who's the best baker, Layla or Molly?
Probably Layla because she's more funnier and more happier.
Layla.
Layla?
Yeah. I think it was me, but seriously, everyone did a good job. But my favourite was Molly.
Another project that is coming to an end next week is Bedtime Stories. Every single night since the 4th of May, Achievement Bute has posted a bedtime story online. That's a lot of bedtime stories. We asked our Bedtime Stories superfan William to interview some of the fantastic bedtime story readers.
I am William. I love bedtime stories. Why did you read a bedtime story?
Well, the first answer to that question is because Layla Templeton asked me to, and that's a good enough reason in my book. But also, I think Achievement Bute's just such a great organisation, not only for the people who are closely involved with it, but also for the wider community of Bute. It makes everybody happy to know that you guys are doing all this wonderful work. And especially during this time when we've not been at school and we've not been at work and we've not been at church and we've not been going around doing our normal lives.
Well, I became involved with Bedtime Stories when I got a message from Layla asking if I would read a story for you all. And I'll let you into a secret. Layla and Molly were both in my class a long, long time ago when they were primary 2 and primary 3. And I think they remembered that I did like reading stories. So that's how I became involved.
The reason I read a bedtime story is I loved reading to my children every night. And the Wildmouth Frog was one of their favourites.
Father Michael, why do you play a piano and read a bedtime story?
I used to be a music teacher, and that's why I can play the piano. So I thought, I'll do something different maybe that other people can't do, and I'll just play a wee tune on the piano. Because sometimes having a nice calm tune on the piano or a nice happy tune can affect our mood. And if we're feeling down, it can lift us up. When we're feeling worried about something, it can take those worried feelings out of our minds and out of our hearts and fill them up with nice, happy things instead.
Miss Robertson, you are a teacher. You know that much lots of stories. What's your favourite story?
Well, yes, I do have lots of favourite stories. And I know I kept saying that, this is a favourite, but I do have lots and lots. And I've got lots of books for lots of topics. But one of my favourite times of year is when we do Scottish things, maybe round about St Andrew's Day or Robert Burns Day. And I've got lots of Scottish stories. And this year, I'm not going to read it, but this year my very favourite story was this one. The Tale of the Wee Maudie that wanted to ken what kecht in his head. I like funny ones like that. So if you can get a hold of that one, have a read of that one.
Ilona, you're good at the voices and the stories. What's your favourite voice?
I love doing voices and I always give, this is my dog Isla, isn't it?
Yeah, my name's Eliza. I love this voice.
Because I love doing voices. It's fun.
Thank you for all the bedtime stories. Alexa, lights off.
Well done to every single person who read a bedtime story. Now let's find out what has been happening in Reese's garden this week.
Welcome to Reese's garden.
This week, Reese is showing off the fairy lights on his street. Reese decorated his garden with lovely fairy lights, so he decided to encourage his neighbours to do the same. Look how lovely it looks at night.
Lovely lights. Thank you very much for garden. Hey.
Lots of children have been doing lots of creative things during lockdown. Here are just a few examples that we heard about. First up is Rune and Finn, who've been doing animation.
Hi, my name's Finn. We've been doing some animations in the animation club over the past few weeks, and I'll be showing some during the summer.
Hello, I'm Rowan O'Connor. Thank you for having me. Over the course of lockdown, I have been working on a stop motion club with Lego and other forms of stop motion.
Another artistic person is Emma, who has been doing so much at home that she's now putting on her own arty art show.
Hi, my name is Emma and I've been doing lots of art at home during lockdown. People have been asking me how I make some of my art. So, along with my friend who is also called Emma, I'm going to show you. Hope you like Emma's arty art show coming soon, so look out for it on social media.
Jamie Murray, a documentary filmmaker who grew up in Bute, is used to asking tough questions. So let's see how he gets on answering the toughest questions of all on The Grilling.
Welcome to The Grilling!
Hello everyone, hello Eliza. Thank you very much for allowing me to take part in this week's broadcast. I'm looking forward to hearing your questions.
When did you decide to become a filmmaker and why?
I think I can trace my interest in video production, media, photography, that kind of thing, all the way back to when I was 11 years old. I can remember going up to my Uncle Ian's. He lived just in the flat above my family, and he was a very good and a very keen photographer, so that was his main hobby. And I used to remember going up and on his computer screen, his desktop backgrounds were always so fascinating. I always remember going up and thinking, oh, I wonder what Uncle Ian has as his desktop background today. They were always really interesting photos. From that point, he then purchased me a Canon video camera because he recognised the interest that I had shown over many months and probably years. He bought me that camera, and that from there on, I started to film it doing projects for school. Started to do things with my friends. We'd film each other on the trampoline, on our bikes and our BMXs. So that's really sort of where it grew from.
You made a film about Wes the Barber. Why did you do that?
The reason I made the film about Wes was I was coming to the end of my degree programme up in Glasgow, a degree in television, and I knew that I wanted to do something as a final project that reflected my upbringing, reflected where I was from and how I've become the person I am today in some sort of way. I sort of stumbled upon the idea of maybe a documentary inside a barber shop. Is predominantly male. Sometimes the conversation can be quite heated and debates about politics and life in general, and the advice that comes to and from the barber to his customers. I always found that quite interesting, and so that materialised into the film that we have now, which is Wesley Snipes. But obviously that evolved. The film wasn't going to be about anything to do with the coronavirus, but when the coronavirus came about, I had to then go and film different interviews with Wes online and change the film a little bit change the structure to have it reflect real life, which was Wes and his small business, and that being in jeopardy, like many others, with the financial impact of the coronavirus.
Jamie, you were once a member of the Scottish Youth Parliament, but how did you get elected and what did you do once you were elected? The
reason I ran for election was because people in my year in school, we were the first year to get the new National 5s, the new National 4s, hires, advanced hires. Our education system was totally ripped up and redesigned. And with that came problems in delivering the new courses. Some teachers didn't know exactly what they had to teach. And I felt there was a lot of problems, so I invited our MSP, who's still our MSP, Mike Russell. At the time, he was the Education Secretary. So I invited him along, got a bunch of fourth year pupils and basically sat them down and said, look, these are the problems, how are you going to solve them? These are some of our suggestions. And I wasn't quite satisfied with just speaking to the Education Minister, so that led me on to running for election to the Scottish Youth Parliament. And when I got there, I was able to join the Education and Lifelong Learning Committee, which allowed me to then further push with a collective effort to get real change in Scotland and have the government held to account on the education system.
Do you think politicians have been doing a good job of dealing with coronavirus, Jamie? And do you have any good advice for them to do it better?
I think probably there will be time later on to look back and really investigate what we could have done better and what we should have been faster at doing. Maybe we should have locked down a little bit faster. These things are great with hindsight, but we don't know them at the time. I probably don't have any advice for them to do it any better. I don't think I'm quite qualified to tell our politicians what to be doing just yet. Maybe we'll get there one day though.
Are you going to film a blockbuster on Bute? And if you are, can we be in it?
There are no plans immediately to come back, especially with COVID-19. There's no plans immediately to be filming any blockbusters anywhere in the world, but you know, I think it's important to aim big, be ambitious and really strive to achieve as much as you can. So if that happens, if there is ever a chance that I'm back filming on Bute or there is a blockbuster to be made somewhere, I would like to think the people of Bute and Bute in general would be involved, whether it be through style or actually people being in the film. I would like to think they'd be involved in some way.
Thank you for taking part in the Glowing Jamie.
Thank you very much for having me on this week's episode. I really enjoyed your questions and it's been an absolute pleasure.
And now, since it is near the end of the school term and there's not been much sport going on, we gave our sports reporter Zoe a special assignment.
It's no surprise to anyone that summer holidays are going to be a whole lot different this year. Although there are still loads of things you still cannot do, like meet up in big groups or go to events, there are still loads of things that you can do. I've managed to get a sneak peek at all the activities Achievement Bute have been busy planning for this summer, and I sent out our fearless team of mini reporters to find out more.
I spoke to Molly McGregor, who is in charge of dance days. What are dance days, Molly?
Well, Lola, this time of year we'd usually be out at Mount Stewart getting ready for 2 weeks of den building. But because we can't be out there, we've decided to make dens virtual.
Sounds like loads of fun. Although lots of places are still closed, you are now allowed to go out and about with your family. I asked local archaeologist Paul Duffy and his research assistant Xander Patterson about their new summer project.
Our new project this summer is called Bute Heritage Hunt. We want to answer the questions you have about archaeology, heritage and the past on the island.
That sounds great. If you're interested in history, which I am by the way, but what if you're interested in other things?
If you like singing or drama, Achievement Bute's got 2 summer projects for you.
Well, that's just a tiny taste of what Achievement Bute is planning to keep children busy these holidays. The full programme will be out next week. Happy holidays!
Phew, there's going to be a lot going on. So, on to the weather. Liam, can you manage a long-range weather forecast so that we know what to expect for the whole of the summer holidays?
Hi, this week I'm going to give you a long-range weather forecast, so you'll be fully equipped for the whole of the 6 weeks summer holidays. There's going to be a lot of sun and some rain, and midges will be a problem, but if you live on Bute, you'll know that already. So, if you're going out and about in the summer holidays, you will need some sun cream, wellies, and a midgie hat, if you have one. If not, a bottle of midgie spray. So, happy holidays and enjoy your weather.
And finally, hold on a minute, sorry, we have some breaking news.
Breaking news! The sudden closure of ABC News has been greeted with shock and disbelief by the island's junior journalists and many news reporters, many of whom have been tirelessly working on the programme over the past 6 weeks and are now about to lose their jobs.
What do you mean, closure of ABC News?
I mean, the show's over, Anna. We're done. Dusted. Finito. It's curtains. Elvis has left the building.
But they can't do that to us.
They can, and they did.
And did they give a reason?
Of course they did, but not a good one. They cited editorial overload as their reason to scrap the show.
And what does that mean?
It means the bosses are too lazy to keep the show alive. Anyway, Anna, I am in the middle of a news report here, so if you don't mind... Reporters are angry that they were not consulted by management prior to the decision to end the broadcast, which have been, by the way, been greatly enjoyed by very many people on social media.
That's right. My nanny loves the show, especially when they make fun of politicians. So, we many reporters have decided to take matters into our own hands.
Have we?
Yes. Over the summer, we will broadcast our own breaking news show.
Yay! When?
Who knows? We will broadcast what we like, when we like. It's going to be very subversive.
Subversive? That's a big word from a small person in primary 3, Lola.
Yes, it is. Isn't it, Mia? That's what breaking news is all about. Big words from small people with big ideas. Breaking news coming soon.